What's up, everybody? This is Daniela, or Daniel, aka Daniela. I wanted to make a video because I haven't talked about this in a while. Just coonish behaviors and shit like that. But the reason why I want to talk about this is because last week I had read a story about OJ. He's supposedly supposed to be getting out of prison very soon. He may get out of prison early. Me, personally, I really don't care if he died in prison because he's a fucking coon. He is a coon. He's a class A fucking coon. Not only did the show it, the show that came out about half a year ago or whatever, but also people around him, even people he grew up with, said that he was a fucking coon. That he barely kept in contact with people he grew up with, his friends from high school and even before high school. I know OJ's type of mentality because I have family members that have his type of mentality, and it's sad. His type of mentality is try to live the life of a white man, basically. To marry a white woman and have biracial kids so that you can be accepted into white society. They think that they can live vicariously through their white spouse and their biracial children, not understanding that their biracial children are going to get similar type of hatred towards them just because they're biracial. You know what I'm saying? It's sad because just think about his case, many other people's cases. There was a sister the other day whose video I was watching. I was actually watching Chrissy's video, one of her videos talking about black women jumping over the fence and trying to date white men because they think that white men aren't colorist also, when actually white men are also colorist, because most white men like to date biracial women. From what I've seen, white men, and this is just my personal observation, from what I've seen is that most white men date biracial women, biracial or light-skinned black women. But on YouTube, you will see more white guys dating dark-skinned black women, and the reason why is because dark-skinned black women, I've noticed this with black women in general, but mostly with dark-skinned black women, is that they will try to broadcast their relationships with white men. It's sick because you really don't see sisters do this as much with black men. You start to see them do it more than what they did before. But I will say probably like 5 years ago, you will see nothing but, when you see a black woman talking about her significant other, it will usually always be a white guy. And it's like black women, especially the dark-skinned ones, parade their relationships with white men. And they're like the only group of people that do this. It's weird. It's very weird. Now I know that, there are sisters out there who keep it real. They hold down the house with black men. And my hats go off to y'all. Same thing with the brothers out here who hold down the house for the sisters. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it should be. Especially in the world, the society that we live in. There's no reason in hell that we should be messing with white people. Now, me, I'm a little bit more lenient when sisters mess with Hispanics. Especially Hispanics because, they're Yashala. But when it comes to Asian guys, I'm not as harsh as I am with white men. White men are a different fucking breed, but even at the same time, Arabs and Asian people, I don't think we should be dating them neither, but I would allow that over them dating a white guy. And the reason why I say Asian and Arabs is because they still treat us like shit too, even when we're over here. Arabs, remember, they sold us into slavery before the white people got us. And then Asians, they come over, they're very disrespectful. They do not, for the most part, they do not respect us. Now, I do know some Asian people. I even went to school with some Asian people, had Asian friends who are very respectful, and they do respect us people and the culture. But for the most part, they don't. They're here in America that lick the white man's boot. So they see us as not even second class citizens, fucking third class citizens, if there is such a thing. But yeah, so anyways, back onto this, I see so many sisters parading their relationships, and it's so bad because you don't see coony ass brothers do that all that much. I'm talking about the brothers who date white women. You don't see them parade their white women around. They do talk about it a lot. They do talk about sisters and shit a lot. In the comment sections and even in their videos, but you don't see them parading like black women do. I wonder what that is, like what type of mentality that is for them to want to parade white guys around like that. And, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, I just can't figure out for the life of me why beautiful black women, why good looking black men, why black people in general, why we date white people. Why? You know, it's funny because I saw this comment the other day and I totally agree with this comment. I understand where this comment was coming from. And this comment was from Chrissy's video on colorless white men or non-black men. There was this one sister who said that she's dated mostly nothing but white men, and I forgot exactly what she said. But this person, I'm not sure if it was a male or female, in the comment they responded to her saying, "Yeah, you're gonna eliminate your whole bloodline. Why do you want to eliminate your bloodline so much?" Something like that. He said something to that effect, and I respond also saying, "I don't get it. I don't understand. You know, these women are beautiful. These guys are some good-looking guys. Like, these brothers that be with these white women are some good-looking guys. No homo. I'm just calling it how it is. My brother, for example, he's a very attractive guy. My younger brother, very attractive guy. Yet, he only messes with white women. I mean, he dated black women in the past, but ever since he went off to the military, and he's been doing his thing out there in Seattle, he's been messing with nothing but white women. And even his sister, because me and my younger brother, we have two different dads. This was after, you know, got divorced. So even my younger brother, his siblings from his dad, which is his younger brother and his younger sister, they both date white people. That whole family is nothing but coonish behaviors. That's why I say I will never move out to the suburbs, because I know how it is out there. You know, you put your kids around all these fucking white people, and then your kids grow up with the white standard beauty mindset. You know, they find white women attractive because that's what they're all around. That's why I really don't get on brothers and sisters who live in the suburbs when they date white. When I hear them talk, and I'm like, okay, I know where they grew up at, in the suburbs. I really don't try to blame them too much because it's not their fault. It's their parents' fault for putting them out there. And you can't tell me that there's no good black neighborhoods in black cities inside the inner city, because there is. Especially in my city, there's a bunch of good black neighborhoods. You know, there's trouble in the suburbs too, so you can't escape crime if that's your excuse. But anyways, then also, you know, if you want to say the whole schooling thing, well, guess what? You can send your kids off to school. There's private schools where you can send your kids off to, especially if you got that money to live in the suburbs. You can afford to send them off to private schools. Why? Because in most suburbs, parents have to pay to send their kids to those schools anyways. Well, at least the ones here. But I know that happen in a lot of suburbs, because that keeps anybody from just getting up in their schools just because you live in the zip code and all that crap. But anyways, they date nothing but white people, which is sad. You know, they're all good looking people and they all date white people. It's like, well, when you have kids with that white person, your lineage is going to start to wipe away. Those good looks that you have, your good features are going to start to get washed away. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because most biracial people nowadays, they date nothing but they almost exclusively date white people. I'm not even joking. Most biracial people these days, whether they got black dads or black moms, they date almost exclusively white people. It's opposite of how it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, most biracial people came back and mixed into blacks. That don't happen too much now. That doesn't happen as much now as it did back then. Why? Because Jim Crow and also the one job rule isn't as prevalent as it was back then. So more and more biracial people are starting to marry whites. And these black people who date white people, they know this. They know this crap. But to me, I think they don't care. I mean, your lineage, your blackness dies off in 2 generations. What don't people get about that? You don't love yourself that much, or you don't love your people that much to say, hey, I want to reproduce with someone who looks like me so I can create children who look like me. You know what I'm saying? So I can create more good looking black people. You know what I'm saying? But no, they want to give that good looks to a white man or to a white woman. And then those biracial kids go off and marry white people. Like, for example, O.J. Simpson's daughter, right here, biracial. Who is she with? A white man. Same thing with Tia and Tamara. Even though one of the twins was with a black guy, the other one was a white guy. But still, That happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? Most of these white guys, like I said, they prefer biracial women or light-skinned women. Why? Because they know that their parents won't trip too much about them bringing home a biracial woman. Because if that biracial person, if that biracial woman have kids with a white man, their kids will most likely come out looking white. So, you know, you black people who are dating interracially, y'all need to stop it. And you know, some of these people, I mean, it's sad because I actually have a coworker who is married. I believe she's married to a white guy. She has a kid. She has one kid by a white guy and one by a black guy. That's kind of like how some of these sisters are who date white guys. They have one kid by a black guy and one kid by a white. Well, I actually saw this one woman. I can't remember where it was, but I was seeing her for a while. I don't know. I can't remember where I was, but wherever she was, we were like in the same area for a while, probably for about an hour. And I remember she had an older daughter who was black. She was probably around 13 years old, and then she had about 3 or 4 younger children that were like from 5 years old to like 9 years old that were biracial. I see that quite often with these sisters. It's like they mess with black men and they just stop. You know, then they just start dating exclusively white. And it's sad because your genetics are going to be wiped out in a few years. And then what happens to these coons who marry these fucking white people and have kids with these white people? Guess what? You become the black grandmother or the black grandfather in the closet. This has happened in Latin America for years. But see, a lot of Latin Americans like black Americans, but even worse in Latin America, they have a lot of self-hatred, especially when it comes to black men. I'm not saying all Latinos. I'm just saying that some of the, mainly the ones from the Caribbean islands. Let me just say that the ones from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba isn't as bad, but Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, they are awful. You know, you would never, you know, some of them are so white you would never thought that they had a black grandparent until they show you a picture. You're like, oh my god, you're part black, you got black grandparent. You know what I'm saying? And it's even sometimes it's even like that here in the United States. There was a news report from this Detroit reporter talking about his black grandfather in the closet, and how he had like a great black grandfather that he never knew of before. That was black, and I even read other stories before where they had, you know, black grandmothers or black grandparents or great grandparents, whatever, and they never knew about it because they kept it a family secret, or they would lie and say like, oh, that grandparent isn't black, they're an Italian, or they're what's it called, because some of them could pass for white and some of them couldn't, but they kept it a secret. They kept it a family fucking secret. So why go off and have kids with these people just for your descendants to be ashamed of you? That makes no fucking sense at all. But see, we don't even think that deep as a people. For the most part, as a people, we're fucking stupid. We only, you know, we don't think about, you know, just, you know, today, tomorrow, the day after. You know, we don't think like that. We don't play chess when we do things as a people. We play fucking checkers. One fucking move. You know what I'm saying? We think about the here and now. We don't think about, you know, the year and the, you know, next year and the year after that. And it's sad. It really is. I mean, it really is. Why destroy yourself? Why wipe away your legacy? Why wipe away your genetics just because of your lust? Because that's what it is for the most part. We date white women. We date white men simply out of lust. You know, we want to be that bad wench. Subconsciously, our black women want to be bad wenches, and subconsciously, our black men want to be those mandingos. And it is sad. I mean, I was watching a video from Sakari, where the brother was talking about how the white man has tricked us into marrying their women, or tricked us into believing in their standards of beauty when they don't even believe in their standards of beauty. They don't even like their standards of beauty. How do we know this? Well, look, because they tricked us into you know, worshiping their women when they're steadily trying to take our women, and then their women up here trying to look like our women. You know what I'm saying? They may not be doing it in droves, but I mean, like, you know, getting ass implants and stuff like that. But a lot of them are, but not as much as our sisters are trying to look like them. You know, so see, we're being tricked into believing in their standards of beauty when they don't even believe in it. You know, they're busy trying to get at us. White women, they want some of that BBC, and you know, white men, they want some of that big booty. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. It's sad. I don't see how we, as a people, see. You know how I can tell. You know how anybody can see that we're fucked up people. It's because we are readily trying to marry our oppressor, the same people who beat and fucking killed us for hundreds of years. Do you know that there are still fucking feudal fucking like tribal fucking beefs and issues and wars still being perpetrated in the Middle East simply off of shit that's happened thousands of years ago? And this not only just happens in the Middle East, but this happens in other fucking countries. Yet we fucking black people here in the United States are so fucking stupid and so dumbed down that we don't mind fucking marrying our oppressors. The Negroes in the United States are the stupidest fucking group of people ever, because we want to get with our oppressors so much. The black people over in the Aboriginals of Australia, you don't see them marrying white people in droves. Why? Because of the shit that they did to them. Yeah, you may find some of them mixing with whites, but most of them want to stay far away from white people as possible. But why do we? Why do us black people? Why do us Negroes in the United States want to marry fucking white people? Why? Why is it? Why is it that we don't want to build with our people, but we want to build with fucking white people? Because let me tell you what OJ did. All the money that he got went to this woman, went to these kids, and in turn, his wealth, if he has wealth, if he continues his wealth, guess what? It's going to roll over to this motherfucker also. And his people. You know, and then next thing you know, you build up this huge legacy, this huge fortune, this huge dynasty, and then your dynasty goes from a black head, that didn't sound right, like a black head, fucking pimple, but it goes from a black patriarch to white people. I would never build up a dynasty. I will turn over in my grave if I build up this very powerful kingdom, dynasty, and then my son goes off and marry a white woman, then his children go off and marry white people, and then my dynasty transitioned from black people over to white people. It's funny because that's how a lot of kingdoms got wiped out in Europe. If you study history, that's how a lot of kingdoms changed hands from black people to white people, because of us intermarrying fucking white people. Yeah, because if you do your research, a lot of the ancient rulers of Europe were black people. This is how the Moors fucked up. If you read the story, if you read the history on the Moors, the reason why we lost Europe was because we were cooning. If you don't think that cooning is anything new, us mixing with white people is anything new, you're gravely mistaken. Not only did it happen here in Americas back in the 1600s, but it also happened in Europe during the 1300s, 1200s, 1500s, 1400s, even the 1600s. But we were cooning and mixing with them so hard over in Europe, and we were mixing with them so hard over in Europe that our children became mulatto. This is why most of the people from Morocco are mulatto, of mulatto descent, and also a lot of people from the Mediterranean area are actually of mulatto descent. But that happened hundreds of years ago. But anyways, like I was saying, that's how a lot of the power changed hands over there, was because we were mixing with the whites, creating mulatto children, who in turn were going and marrying other mulattoes and marrying white people. And that's how the power shifted from the Moors over there. Because we were given, little did we know, we were given the power directly back to them by marrying them and bringing up these white families. I mean, it is sickening. It is fucking sickening. And, you know, most of these athletes who date white women and who marry white women and have kids with white women, they don't understand what the fuck they're doing. Because, like I said, more and more mixed people, biracial people who have a black parent and a white parent, more often now they're starting to marry white people. So when you have a fortune like that, you're a basketball player, you're some type of celebrity, you have biracial kids, they're most likely going to go off and marry white people. And then your fortune, everything that you worked hard for, changes from black hands to white hands. And we don't think about it on that level. That's why when I have kids, I will teach them. I will teach them first and foremost to love themselves. and love their people above all people. You know, we want to sit here and be on this kumbaya bullshit with our oppressors. We want to marry them. I don't understand. I don't understand. It's just like being in a relationship with an abusive partner. Say if you're a woman and this man has abused you over and over and over again, blacked your eye, busted your lip, beat you so bad that he sent you to the hospital. Not once, not twice, but more than a handful of times. This guy has beat the shit out of you, and you're away from him. Say you finally like, fuck it, I'm done. I gave him too many chances. He damn near killed me this time. Y'all are gone for like about a few months to a year, and y'all cross paths again. He's like, hey, how you doing? He's trying to play nice with you just so he can get back with you. Us as a black people being that abused woman in the white society of the United States and of Europe, being that abusive man. Him wanting to get with us, not him wanting to get up with us, but us being that abused woman, seeing him again and wanting to be with him. You know how stupid that woman will fucking look? You know how us in general, anybody with common sense, like, woman, you are fucking stupid for getting back with that guy. Well, it's the same way with us as black people here in the United States wanting to get with white people. White people have killed us. They have hung us from trees. They have drowned us. They have lynched us, which is the same thing as hanging us. They have cut our dicks off. They have cut our pregnant women bellies open. Take the babies by their foot. Smash them with rocks. This same thing they did to Native Americans. They have did the most vicious, vile bullshit to us. You know, putting yokes of iron around our neck. Putting these big old yokes of iron around our faces. You know, chaining us down, doing all this stuff, beating us like animals, feeding us to dogs, feeding us to alligators, feeding us to sharks, feeding us to whatever the fuck they can try to feed us to. Putting us in fucking holding tanks to where we sit out in the sun all fucking day, die of heat strokes, all this vile shit to us, shooting us down the street, still shooting and killing us to this day, still lynching us to this fucking day, lying on us, cheating us, doing all this shit. And we still want to be with these fucking people? Now, I'm not saying don't, try to avoid white people at all costs. What I'm trying to say is, some of the things that we do when we interact with people, we can't help it. We may work around them, because I work around white people. But why are you willfully interacting with them when you don't have to? Why are you willfully marrying them when you don't have to? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me at all. Because we are that abused woman, that has been abused time and time again, to damn near to where the point we were almost killed by this abusive man, which is the United States. But we want to get back with him. We want to have children with him. That makes no fucking sense at all. White men are abusing. It's funny, because a lot of these sisters, they don't want to admit it, but a lot of these white men are abusive, even to black women. They don't buy that strong black woman crap. They don't. I mean, there's been countless cases over the past 2 years that I have seen. I have at least read about like 10 to 15 different cases where black women were killed by their white husbands. So they ain't gonna treat you no different from their fucking white woman when they want to get abusive. All they have to do is sit there and say, oh, I like black women. They could be as ugly as a fucking baby toe. But since it's coming from a white guy, oh, he sounds so nice. Oh, finally we're going to lift on the pedestal. Yeah, I know that our brothers aren't doing what they need to do. I know that. That's why I get on black men too, because we're not doing what we need to do to take care of our women. But our women are so desperate out here that when they hear anything, magnifying their good qualities from a non-black guy, they jump up in a heartbeat. They don't even give a fuck if the guy is ugly, because I have seen countless white guys or black women who are ugly. There's this one woman, I can't remember her name. She's a decent looking sister. I wouldn't really say that she's good looking, but when she put on makeup, she looks even better. But she's with this white guy who is just a fucking goof. I'm sorry. He's just a fucking goof, man. It's sad. And you're just like, why? This guy is lame. You know what I'm saying? This guy is fucking lame. Sad thing is that a lot of these sisters like that do date interracially, the same type of I will say that sisters who date interracially are very, very fucking picky, because the same credentials and the same personality that a white guy may have may not work for her when it comes to dating a black guy. Because most sisters, when they do date interracially, they don't like dating lame black guys. They only like dating lame white guys. I mean, it's just crazy. It's like when the black guy dates these sisters that are on the fence, they don't know which way they want to go. Usually when they want a black guy, he has to do way much for her. He has to do way more for her. He has to be an overachiever. He has to be an overpleaser when it comes to being with her. But then when it comes to her dating a white guy, this guy doesn't have to do much. All he has to do is just be white for the most part, because I have seen sisters with white men who have absolutely nothing, who may promise them the world, but give them absolutely nothing time and time again. The woman is disappointed. Yes, she's still with him. He can be as ugly as sin. She don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's sad. I mean, it really is. And it's the same thing with brothers too, man. I be seeing these white, the brothers. All she has to do is be white. That's really all it is for these brothers out here, man. It's the same thing for both sides. I've seen brothers with these very, very ugly fucking white women. But what I do have to say is that more often I see more somewhat attractive black women date ugly white guys than I do see attractive brothers dating white girls. Because most brothers who date white girls are they're not really that attractive themselves. But I have seen what you would call attractive brothers dating white girls. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But anyways, it is sad. The mentality that we are in as a people, we are fucked. That's why I made that video earlier today, that my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because it's so true. We don't know who we are as a people. We are Yashala, which is Israel. We are the true Israelites. We don't know who our God is. We don't know who we are. So we're lost. That's why shit would never work out for us. This is why Dr. Umar Johnson falls all the time. What the shit that he says sound good? It sounds good, doesn't it? The shit that Tariq Nasheed says sound good. But the reason why they will always have problems, why? Because they don't have the Most High as their foundation. So they will never stand, because they stand on shaky foundation. This is why Dr. Umar Johnson is always running into issues, and I'm sorry. Speaking, I don't want to make another video on Dr. Umar Johnson, talking about this specific thing, but I'm sorry. I'm going to just make this into a double titled video. But Dr. Umar Johnson, man, he has changed a lot than how he was. Because I first found out about him probably about, it was before Hidden Colors 3. Because I think I first saw him on Hidden Colors 2. And that was some years ago. That was probably back in like 2015. No. It's been longer than that. 2000, I would probably say 2014 or 13 was when I first heard about Dr. Umar Johnson. And man, everything he was saying sounds so right. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's on the grind. He's talking about Pan-Africanism, sorry, which I somewhat agree with. And the reason why I don't fully agree with Pan-Africanism is because, first of all, we are not Hamitic. Negroes and Americans are not Hamitic like most of the black people over in Africa. They're Hamitic. This is why they don't like us, period. And that's another reason too. If you don't, see it from that sense, you can see it from the actual physical sense that most Africans who even come here don't like us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't believe in that, because they will never work with us. Even if we're giving them a fucking platter of gold. Well, that may be the only way they'll work with us. But everything he was saying, building schools for our young people, and making committees, building up our communities, and doing all this stuff to better the future for our children. I was like, yeah, that sounds right, that sounds good, I want to do that, I want to get on board. I think that all black people should get on board. And then you know, while he's on a roll, he's blowing up. Everybody's starting to know his name. Anybody that has anything to do with black people starts to know his name. Um, and then the whole conscious stripper thing happens. And after that, he totally changed. Now, this guy is so narcissistic. Oh my God, it is ridiculous. It's no wonder why people aren't willing to work with him, you know, in documentaries and stuff like that. Because he is so full of himself. I mean, he refers to himself in the third person all the time. That's one major clue of a narcissistic person, is if they refer to themselves as the, you know, or because he says, you know, Dr. Umar Johnson, or the Dr. Umar Johnson, and you know, that's just a tell sign right there of narcissism right there. But also, now he has this thing with saying facts, as if everything that comes out of his mouth is facts. It was funny because he was making an objective video, which means basically from his point of view, his opinion on the true meaning of the movie, or the hidden message inside the movie Get Out. Everything that he was saying was objective. Why? Because we have not got any proof from the writers, Jordan Peele and maybe a few other people. We didn't get any proof from them that, hey, what Dr. Umar Johnson is saying is fact. So everything that Dr. Umar Johnson is saying is totally biased, and it's objective. Point blank, period. Yet everything that he says in that video, he says are facts. Like, what? Come on. But he is funny because if y'all, you know, anybody who has been following Dr. Umar Johnson for the past couple years, I know y'all can recall that back in it, because I used to watch a lot of his podcasts, all that stuff, his little when he would go and tour and stuff like that, where he would talk to the community and everything like that. I used to watch all of those, and I remember him stating clearly many times, not just once but many times, saying that there should not be one black leader. Why? Because when that one black leader is killed, like Martin Luther King, the whole movement stops. So he believed that there shouldn't be one black leader, but there should be multiple black leaders. Now, ever since he had got to that argument with that light-skinned brother from Detroit, can't remember his name, Simpson or something like that, I can't remember his name. But ever since he got into that was the first time I ever heard Dr. Umar Johnson saying that he was the prince. Well, he's been saying that Prince of Pan-Africanist for probably about a year and a half, 2 years now, which is giving himself the title of being the leader of this damn thing. And then also, he talks about, if you want the crown, come and get it. If you want the crown, come and take it. But I thought that you said that there should be one leader in this movement. Now he set himself up. He set himself up because he is the self-appointed. Nobody didn't crown him king or prince or anything like that, but he has done it himself. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big narcissistic, egotistical move right there. You know, for him to do that. But yet this is the same guy who said that, you know, there shouldn't be one leader. But now he's telling people, if you want the crown, come and take it. The fuck is this? A hip-hop battle? I swear, the last few videos that he have done, you know, addressing people, it seemed like he's like in a hip-hop beef. A lot of people who did not know him, I kid you not, a lot of people who did not know him, they thought that he was like some type of rapper or something because of the videos that he was making. Just the way he was addressing people in his videos. And this is supposed to be a school clinician. This is a guy who wants to build schools for our children and, you know, be one of the many leaders of our black society. Yet we see that this guy can be very, very egotistical, narcissistic, and very immature at times. That's why I stopped showing my support. I will watch his stuff every now and then just to stay in a loop. But this guy is ridiculous at times. I mean, he really is. I can't even... And then he repeats himself a million times. Oh, God. It's terrible. I said. I mean, he reminds me of, what is that damn rooster? I can't remember his name. He reminds me of that damn rooster who's always repeating himself. He has a weird ass name. I can't remember that rooster's name, but he's from one of those little Acme cartoons with Bugs Bunny. I say it. But yeah, he's always repeating things over and over and over again. And you know, if he said that he was doing that because black people have a short attention span, and you know, and you need to say things twice for people to understand the point, I can understand that. But it seems like he's doing that. I don't know if it is it that he does it so much that now he can't help it, because now he repeats things that he don't need to repeat anymore. It's like, what's going on? Is Dr. Umar Johnson a clone or some shit? But you know, it's funny because a lot of other people are starting to wake up to him, and I can see why. I can see why. Why can't I think of his name right now? But the brother who runs a little business class, and I'm so bad with names. I really am. But yeah, the brother doesn't mess with him anymore, and you know that brother's team don't mess with him. Because Dr. Umar Johnson, he's so conceited, man. It's crazy. He don't believe that anybody should be... Because a lot of people were questioning him about the school and stuff, because, you know, people were donating thousands of dollars to him, yet he wasn't giving them, like, a game plan. You know, he wasn't telling them how he's going to spend the money, and what was his plans for building the school was. And he got upset. He addressed some of these people about that, but it's like... How can you get upset with them when they're giving you their hard-earned money? They earned that money, not you. You begged for that money. And out of good faith, they gave it to you, hoping that you would do something good with that money, something that you promised. But, of course, like any good investor, they will want to see what you plan to do with their money that they're investing in you. You know what I'm saying? But he don't think people should have that business because that's his business. Not with their money, it's not. It's everybody's business. Once when you take everybody's money, it's everybody's business. But Dr. Umar Johnson, he doesn't think so. And that is crazy. That's crazy. You know, so I really can't rock with him anymore. And this is why I used to say in my videos that I can't, not one person is my leader. Because these leaders, they do nothing but disappoint. That's all they do. And yes, I'm disappointed in him. Even though he was my leader, I'm disappointed in him. Because, or maybe I'm disappointed in myself for letting myself believe in him a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe, but, you know, I had hopes for him, but it seemed like after the whole conscious stripper thing, maybe the conscious stripper thing was a good thing, because maybe it was showing us that he is probably a fraud. You know, he may be a phony. I don't know. I can tell you one thing, that he is very narcissistic. I don't know if he's a phony, but he is very narcissistic, and it is very annoying. I mean, man, y'all don't believe me? Pull up any of his videos that he made in the past month, and you will see why a lot of people are starting to fall off from him, and a lot of people are starting not to feel him anymore, because, man, it's bad. It is real bad, the way he acts. But, yeah. That's basically all I have to say. Dr. Umar Johnson, he's something else right now. And then, you know, also black people, come on. Stop it. Stop fucking destroying yourselves. Stop this bullshit. Oh, just knocked over my medicine. Stop this bullshit right here. And yeah, I'm taking medication right now because, I mean, I really don't like taking it. I only take it when I'm really in pain and shit. But, yeah, anyways. But yeah, look at this fucking coon right here, man. Look at this picture right here. It kind of look weird. Anyways, look at this shit, man. That's sick. That's sick. All this hell that he caught just because he wanted to be with a white woman. All of this hell. He is sitting in prison right now and has been dealing with this shit for the longest just because he wanted to deal with that woman. Oh man, grizzly ass shit. But oh shit, I didn't want to see all that. I didn't want to see all that. But anyways, just because he wanted to deal with this fucking woman right here. Stop it, black people. Don't do that to yourself. Same thing with Tiger Woods, silly ass. Stop it. Stop fucking with white people. You're not gonna be happier from jumping the fucking gate. from jumping a fucking fence. Why? Because there's a lot of black people who will tell you that they are not happier. If they were being honest, if a lot of these IR dating black people, black women and men were to be honest with you, they will tell you that they are no happier than they were with a white person. I mean, with a black person. Why? Because white racism is much more upfront. It exposes itself way more to you when you're actually married to a white person. Why? Because you're going to be dealing with white people more often than you would when you're not dating a white person. So you're going to encounter racism more. And a lot of these black people who are in those relationships, they try to, brush it under the rug as if it was nothing. But some of them actually, like, it's funny, especially a lot of sisters. Women in general, especially our sisters, are more boisterous than men are. And I think that's one of the reasons why black women parade their relationships with white men around more than black men do. Because black women in general are just more vocal about how they feel, and that's just women in general. But also when it comes to these bad interracial relationships, you hear most of the people that are complaining about bad interracial relationships are black women. And I don't believe it's because white women treat black men better, but because, like I said, black women are more vocal, and women in general are more vocal about how they feel than men are, and black men are. Than black men do. But a lot of these sisters, you hear it. Them saying that their boyfriends or their husbands are racist, or that their husbands weren't racist when they first met, but then they started to reveal themselves over time after they had kids. They started to see the racist tendencies. They have racist family members, or mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, stuff like that. That their husband has racist friends and stuff like that, and they ask other IR dating black women for advice, and they ask even just regular black women for advice how to deal with that. And I'm thinking, like, why do you want to find a way to fix that? Racism is something that has been ingrained in white society so hard that it's not something that's going to be an overnight fix, and it may not even be something that can be fixed at all. Because it's so ingrained in white people, it's so ingrained in the society. Your best option is to leave that guy behind, and the thing is too is that y'all should have been dating much longer than that, so that he can expose himself to you. Because a lot of people nowadays, they like to run off and get married off in a heartbeat. But you need to date longer so you can find this shit out. But it's funny because some of these women are actually not even married to these guys, and they find out about these racist tendencies. More than half of the sisters are smart. They leave these guys alone, and then some of them go off and date other white guys, thinking they're going to get an even better relationship, when it sometimes ends the same. Some of the sisters go back to just dating brothers again. But then there's some of them who just want to sit there and try to fix the relationship with these white guys, these racist white guys. And then some of these black women are alright, and even black men are alright. And I've seen this more often with black men than I have with black women, who are alright with white women hating black women. Or they're alright with their white women being racist, and like I said, it's even like this with sisters too, but I see it more often with black men. I see black men being alright with white women hating on black women, just because it's not happening to them. And I just think that type of mentality is absolutely ridiculous, and it's sickening. It's just sad. All these swirlers out here, they just don't learn. They just don't learn until it's too late. But anyways, I've been talking for long enough. That's all I have to say. Talk to you guys later. Peace out. Shalom, and think about this. Think about this stuff I'm talking about, because a lot of us black people, we don't like to think about these things. Anyways, shalom. Hey, well, I guess I'm not finished yet. I just remembered before I was about to end the video that I watched this video earlier today with Joe Budden and DJ Academics. I guess they were supposed to do a discussion about Kendrick Lamar and Big Sean on Complex. They have like a little spin-off show. And boy, was this shit embarrassing. Not for DJ Academics, but for Joe Budden. And I have to hand it to DJ Academics for not, get ignorant and acting stupid because Joe Budden is a fucking idiot. I really can't stand this dude anymore. He, speaking of narcissism, this guy, his ego is ridiculous. And he swear he's like the smoothest guy in the world, man. I mean, he is such a fucking hypocrite. And the way that he really just exposed himself. I guess he was trying to expose DJ Academics. There was a title to one of the videos saying that Joe Budden, I think this is it right here, exposes DJ Academic as an awkward dweeb. I guess Beats One doesn't like him because that's not what Joe Budden said in the video at all. So I guess this guy just don't like DJ Academics. But anyways, DJ Academics was being his normal self. He was actually trying to have a conversation with Joe Buddens. Joe Buddens think that he is better than everybody. Yet he lost in a fucking rap battle. Yet he hasn't made a hit in shit. When did Pump It Up come out? That came out like 2006 or some shit. So it's been about like over 10 years or something like that since he has actually made any decent music. He beat on his ex-wife, who I believe just because Joe Buddens, in his eyes, he can't do anything wrong. It was funny because he had an interview with Tax Tones over a year ago, and Tax Tones asked him, "Did you beat her up, or did she make it all up?" And Joe Budden's being the hypocrite that he is, he said, "Well, you have to ask her. I can't answer that for you." And it's like, well, why do we have to ask her when you and her were both in that situation? She claims that you were in that situation. So if you were not there, you can just say, "Oh, I was not there. I did not do it." But if you were there, you were beating on her, that's a different fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta admit to that shit. I mean, you don't have to admit to it. You can just say, "Oh, I just don't want to talk about it." But it's like, if I get into a fight with someone, and that person says, I beat them up, told other people that I beat them up, and then someone else comes to me asking me, "Did I beat that person up?" I can't say, "Oh, you have to ask them," because I don't know what they're thinking. No, it's either yes or no, motherfucker. Did you beat her up or not? Because obviously she's saying that you were there. I mean, we can only get it from the horse's mouth, and that's only two people. There's only two people in that situation that has a first-person perspective on the situation. But why I say that he's so hypocritical is because earlier in that interview, I think her name is Stephanie Santiago. She asked him, "What do you think?" He asked her about a show that he was in with his girlfriend. I guess like rehab for couple rehabs or something like that. And she asked for his opinion, like, "Oh, what do you think? How do you think she felt? Because you probably had different motives than she did." And he spoke for her. But now when it comes to Esther Baxter getting beat up by him, oh, he doesn't want to talk to that. Now you need to get her thoughts on it. Oh, I can't think for her. So, he's just full of shit. He is full of shit. It's gonna be some day when somebody's gonna whoop his ass, because there's been many times before where people try to whoop his ass or whoop his ass just because he is that type of scum. I tell you, he's one of those people in high school that I beat up on. I tell you that. Like, I wasn't an asshole in high school, but I can tell you this: people like him, I beat the fuck up. And I can tell you this: if me and Joe Buddens was in the studio, I will whoop his fucking ass. I'm sure there's a lot of people who will want to whoop his ass and probably even kill him. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Tax Tone wanted to whoop his ass because Tax Tone is that type of guy. I'm surprised Tax Tone didn't whoop his ass, though, in that interview. But Joe Buddens, he's a fucking hypocrite. He's a piece of shit. He makes shitty music. He only had one hit. He tries to stay relevant by beefing with people. DJ Academics could have went off on him, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? He could have really tore at his character because he was trying to tear at DJ Academic's character, call him internet baby and YouTube baby, all this other bullshit, And if DJ Academics wanted to, he could have really got at her buttons. Talking about him being abusive, not having any hits, being a fucking asswipe, because that's what he is. He's a fucking asswipe. He's a narcissistic asswipe who think that he's better than everybody else. That's why he talks in a condescending fucking manner, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He tries to use the same fucking he tries to use the same fucking spin on everyone, man. It's funny because Taxon was calling him a spin master. And he is. He tries to spin shit around so much that he might as well be a DJ. As much as this nigga be trying to spin shit. DJ Buttons. DJ Buttons. Oh, man. But you know, man, man, if I was DJ Academics, I probably would have punched this nigga in his fucking face, man. And Esther, I used to have a crush on her back in the day before anybody knew who the fuck she was. I remember it was back in like 2004 when she first popped up out of nowhere. And I think she did a photo shoot with, it wasn't Ebony, it was the other one. Can't remember the other magazine, but she did a photo shoot. And so did the other chick, I can't remember her name, but she had a fat ass. She did a photo shoot with them also. And I remember I used to have their little photos on the wall. This is back when I used to do that little idolizing bullshit. But yep, back in the day, she was one of my first little model crushes. But yeah, oh yeah, and it's funny because I actually went to school with Esther's her cousin. I guess he was like a second cousin of hers or like a third cousin. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was her cousin. I mean, that was his cousin. And I never said that I had a crush on her when I knew him, when I went to school with him. But yeah, this was way back in the day. Way back in the day. Yep. But anyways, that's all I have to say. Talk to you guys later. I know I said that many times before, but yeah, for sure this time I'm done. I'm tired of talking about these narcissistic assholes. Joe Buddens is way worse than Dr. Umar Johnson when it comes to egos. Man, terrible. I don't even see how Buddens function as a person. I don't see how he has any friends. Any friends, because it's like if you don't want to be here, don't be there. Don't be there. Don't come on somebody's show and act like an asshole and don't do what you were probably paid to do. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's all I have to say. Talk to you guys later. Peace out. Shalom.